Appreciate everybody joining tonight. It's going to be a fun time. Greetings all. Greetings all.
My guys.
Yo.
What's going on?
All right, good. Y'all can hear me clearly?
Yeah, we good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I had to do it from the headquarters today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
How you guys feeling?
Good, brother. How you?
Blessed, man.
I'm blessed and highly favored, brother. Blessed and highly favored.
I know the feeling.
It's funny you showed that 15-year photo of yourself, Rashad, earlier about kind of how the blessings work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. You never know when it's gonna hit, but you just got prayer plus preparation. That's what it. Perseverance,
yes,
preparation, prayer. All of those P's come into play in life, and something that is real.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you guys, allowing me to interview you since you're always the ones interviewing everybody else. You know what I mean?
No problem.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
By the way, for everybody who's joining, if you haven't been with me before, my name is Harold Valston, a.k.a. Coach V, a.k.a. the Real Estate Motivator. As you guys can hear, I'm interviewing the interviewers, and we're doing, what we're doing here. But what I ask everybody to do, if you haven't been with us before, press the little airplane on the bottom. Send this all your friends and family. Don't be selfish. This is information that needs to be shared with the people. So don't be selfish. Share it out. Let everybody know we're here. And obviously, if you ain't found me already, you know what to do there. So that's self-explanatory.
It's free.
You know what I mean?
It's free. Just do it.
It's free. You know what I'm saying? And the information that we give, as you can see, that the platform these gentlemen have built is absolutely phenomenal. So,
thank you.
Yes, sir. So, what I want to start with, I'm giving everybody, what time is it? Let's see. We'll give them 1 more minute to join. You know what I mean? We'll have some pleasantries real quick. Considering the holidays, I know everybody has a little bit different traditions and things like that, and this year's changed a few things. What do you feel is going to be your thing this year during these next, let's call it, coming into the end of the year?
We're going to Miami. We're actually going to Miami on Sunday, so we're gonna bring the year in. We're gonna bring the
God
year
bless
in.
you.
Sure.
We're changing the forecast a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope so. What's crazy? I got peoples down there, and they show me photos, and they walk around their camera. Florida they don't know about COVID. I don't think they understand what COVID is down there. It's insane. I'm like, hold up. So when people from New York come down there, people look at them like they're strange. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and we looking at them like, am I in alternate reality? Is this a warped situation?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The only dude with the mask on Ocean Drive. That'd be me.
Listen, it is what it is. Let me tell you something. If I had to travel and let me not wear that mask, my wife won't let me back in the house. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. So now I think everybody's here. And again, if you haven't shared this with your friends and family, press that little airplane button. Make sure y'all know what it is. All right. So what I want to start with is, and Rashad, you actually had shared this, the day before you launched Earn Your Leisure as a podcast, you and I sat down, broke bread, was at LinkedIn, chopping it up, and I didn't even know what was coming. I just heard the vision. I heard what I heard about it. It's like, all right, cool. If you need anything, I'm here for you. Listen, we can use the resources here, this, that, and the other. He's like, I appreciate that. And what's crazy is when I looked at the picture that you posted, I guess when we were talking, I didn't see that fatigue on you because the energy you was giving off, and about the excitement of EYL, I was like, he can't be that tired. And I didn't even think about it till you showed the picture. I was like, yo, damn, this dude looks like he ain't sleeping for years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's go back to that day, the day before, and then when you launched EYL, tell me, when you guys got together, what was the vision that you guys had for EYL? Like, how did you see it, coming to pass?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first, that day, that was definitely you definitely played a part in that situation because it was the day before, and like you said, I was exhausted, man. We was just making my rounds, just trying to network with as many people as we possibly could network with, and just get the word out there. We was excited to launch the podcast. We didn't really have any expectations for it, but we was just excited to put the product out and just to see the reaction. Like, we felt that we had something that was different than anything that was out in the marketplace. So when
Absolutely.
I met with you, and thank you for inviting me to LinkedIn headquarters, that was dope. That was a dope experience. And yeah, man, I was just excited just to let you know about what we had coming out. And it seems like a lifetime ago, but it was only two
Oh
years ago.
man.
Yeah, yeah. Time flies, and a lot can happen in a short period of time. So that was 2 years ago. Like I'm telling you, like yeah, we got an idea. We about to do this podcast called Earn Your Leisure, and 2 years later, we are where we are now. So God is
No,
good. God is good.
absolutely. Listen, so I'm gonna bring it back to the post you put back today. A lot of people don't get this, and listen, and everybody, whatever your faith is, but you can grasp this concept. So I'm just gonna use the word creator. When the creator has his plan set for you, and when it's ready to go, it's gonna accelerate at a level that no one would understand. And we've witnessed that from the day you guys have launched to where you're sitting today. Absolutely, you've been blessed beyond like all measures. You know what I mean? So salute to that, and for your faith, and obviously we all know faith without works is dead. So the fact that you guys work, I mean, y'all putting out that content, and you're changing people, like you're literally changing people's lives. Like real talk, I don't think y'all guys understand the impact
Nah, it's
yet that
humbling.
you're having, man.
It's humbling. Like we hear people all the time. People saying like, they left the street corner, or they can, they don't have to, go to a side hustle job that they don't want to do anymore, or they have faith in actually being able to provide for their family now, and all of this stuff is just done through information. Like you know what I'm saying? It's not a magical wand. It's nothing.
Nah,
It's just information, and then I feel like now the floodgates is starting to like really flood open, and you got people like yourself giving game on real estate. You got people giving game on stocks. People giving game on any given topic. Now it's like, but it wasn't always like that. So now it's like
absolutely.
now the information, it's like information overload. Like you can actually get too much information at this point. Like you know what I'm saying?
I think that's
No,
the most
absolutely.
beautiful. That's
Yeah,
the best part of it is like seeing those stories, like watching people get the information, but not just hoarding it and actually put it into action, man. I think that's the biggest gift to us, man. It's like, yo, y'all heard it, y'all executed on it, and now you're passing it along. I think yesterday somebody posted something about they getting their child 2 vending machines for Christmas. And I
oh
was just
wow.
like, yo, a year ago, I don't think anybody was thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? At least around us. And so to hear it, it's like, yo, this is crazy. And the fact that the young man was excited about it, like, yo, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm 13. It's like, wow, these conversations have changed. I told you for years, we just argue about sports and hip hop. And now it's like the conversations have changed, group chats have changed, text messages have changed, voicemails have changed. Everything is pretty much related to entrepreneurship and how we're going to keep fighting this revolutionary thing that we got going.
So the credit I want to give you guys, and tell me when you were visualizing this thing, you guys have put the information in a way that's super palatable to the masses, right? So for the cat that's from the street corner to the dude in the boardroom can understand the information you're giving out. So was that by on purpose or by design? Help us all understand that.
Yeah, I think it's kind of ironic. It's just kind of how we always talk to each other. You know what I mean? Like we talk every day for the past like 20 years at least. And so it was just commonplace for us to talk like that. And then when we realized that there was stories that people weren't familiar with in business, and we kind of had the
Yep.
knowledge of it and spoke to each other and spoke to the people around us, it was like, yo, we should just try this thing. And these are the results of it.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
for me also, it's like I actually want to learn, and like for me, I'm like break this down, like break it down. Like I feel like if you can't explain it to a 12-year-old, if a 12-year-old can't understand it, then you're not explaining it good enough. So like when even like a lot of times I ask a question because I want to know the answer personally, and I personally don't like to learn in like parables and like real complex. I like to learn in just straight, easy to understand English. So if I'm asking a question, I want it. It's like how I would want it, like A,
Yeah.
B, C. Like I need it like that to learn. So for me, I feel like I think Einstein said if you can't explain something easily, you don't fully understand it. Like if you're making it too hard or too complex, you don't really fully understand it. So we don't want to stretch people's brains too far and discourage them because that discourages people too sometimes. But it's like it becomes too
Absolutely.
complicated to explain. And you feel like it's over your head, and you just like anytime that you feel like something is too complicated, you just leave it alone, especially when it comes to money. So if it's simple in plain English, And I think that one of the things that we do, not only is it in plain English, but it's in a language that we understand as far as a culture. So it's like,
Absolutely.
that's something that really wasn't done before either on a large scale as far as media. Like there's really no media outlets as far as business outlets that talk the way that we talk. Even if it's in plain English, there's different dialects in English. Like, what I'm saying? If you go to London, they can speak they speak a different English than they speak in South Central. So it's like, for us, like, we don't have to. I always said I had to learn business, but I didn't have to learn culture because I am the culture. So like, we grew up on music, sports, all of this stuff is just second nature to us. So this is, we speak the lingo. So learning business is something that we had to try to do. We didn't have to try to actually fit in because this is what we did our whole entire lives. So I feel like
Absolutely.
a large population of people that felt neglected for a long period of time because people wasn't speaking in the language that they can understand. Now they see us, and we just regular people. We're not, anybody that when you would look at like, oh, they just too far above. Like, we could be the regular person that you're just speaking in the barbershop with, having a Sunday morning conversation or whatever. So when they see us and they see our guests, it's the same way. Everybody's not perfect. Some people have, some people went to college, some people went to the penitentiary. We cover people from all walks of life, teenage moms. Everybody's got something that they can relate to. So when they see somebody that mirrors themselves, they're like, all right, I see their struggle. I see what they've been through. I can do it. So that's our formula.
No, and I appreciate that because I remember initially when I was following you guys and I was cracking up because I would see you guys talking about sports or entertainment, but kind of breaking down the business of those things where people are constantly arguing about, the Jordan or LeBron. But now it was, well, do you understand that they're doing this and this is how they got paid and this is why they lost money and so forth and so on. And that was something that changed the conversation. It's like, hold up, I didn't understand that. I didn't get that. And now people are saying, like you said, now in the barbershop, they're arguing about should they buy Tesla or Microsoft versus, LeBron or Jordan. And they're saying instead of it's like, should I buy Jordans or should I invest in Nike? And that's the conversations we trying to have now. And it's amazing to see kind of because we're all, all of us are around the same age to watch our era now are leading helping lead the revolution of these younger cats having these conversations at 12, 13, 14. Shout out to Spurgo and those type of things. These are again a revolution that's occurring. Now we just need to help maintain that. So speaking of which, how do you guys feel you're going to fuel that revolution and continue to have the movement grow?
Yeah, man. I mean, the first thing is that we're going to continue to be consistent. I think a lot of people discount the amount of work that goes into it. They look at it like it's a podcast, two dudes recording on the mic, but there's a lot of work that goes into it. And so, like when you saw him exhausted like that, like there's plenty of months where he looked like that, right? There's plenty of months where I'm waking up and I'm doing research and he's doing research and we're coming up with game plans. And so we've made a complete plan of it. And from there, it was like, look, this is our method. I don't care if somebody sees it and they try to duplicate it. They can't duplicate our source. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, I would be disrespectful if I even try to do what I was like. I'm gonna stay in my lane. You know what I mean? I just try to keep things. But what I do emulate, and I think we all share, is we try to break it down to the simple so that it doesn't seem as complicated to people. Because I used to crack up because let's talk about real estate for a quick second. People would talk about ROI and cap rates and do this formula and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, nah, fam, can you rent it more than what you're paying for it? That's it. You know what I mean? Or can you buy and fix it and sell it? And then when you sell it, are you going to make some money on the top of that? That's what you got to figure out. Now, do we got to go a little more deeper in that? Yeah, but that's as simple really as it is. And a lot of people were trying to, talk above people's heads, especially in the investment game. If you watch CNBC and you're not from that quote unquote world, you're like, it looked like Chinese hieroglyphics coming across the screen.
It's crazy you said that because early on they were like, look, business is a foreign language. Like, I don't come from a business background. Shadi comes from a business background. But the thing is, the advantage we have is like we're literally learning a business for every time we interview somebody. And so once we have to prepare to get that person on and interview them, we're studying the business, right? Because we need to ask questions about the business. So we're learning it, and then we're learning from the professional in it. And it was like, yo, this is the game right here, right? We're going to give you the foreign language, and we're going to break it down. They said that we became the Rosetta Stone of business. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to break down the terms. We're going to break down the terminology. and give it to you in a way that you can use it, but not only use it, but apply it and then teach it to the people around you. That's like kind of our motto. If we give you the game, go to your neighborhood and give it right back.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this: in that doing that research and some of the guests that you've had on or Earning Leisure, what was probably the most surprising one in the sense of kind of how the business worked, or whether it's simplicity or it's complexity that when you did the research, you're like, hold up, I didn't realize this is how it worked.
For me, mobile homes comes to mind because that's something that, I mean, of course, we always heard about stocks, we always heard about real estate, but mobile home investing, I never really thought about that at all. So when I met with them, shout out to Byron out in Chicago, mobile home investors, elite. When I met them, and before we even did the podcast, and Byron was explaining to me about mobile homes and how it has the highest cash on cash return out of any form of real estate investing. And he was telling me like how they was flipping mobile homes and how they was buying mobile homes for $5,000 and selling and like getting $400 rent and all this crazy stuff. So I was just like, it was crazy. So then we did the interview, and that's a classic interview, and they just broke down the whole mobile home game, and I was like, I never thought about investing in a mobile home before, but that's something that
you and me both. That educated me, and I was like, yo, I started real talk. I look at mobile home parks in Long Island and some of the areas just to see is an opportunity for me to jump on it. You know what I mean? Just for location. So for me to touch it, I want to be a little closer. But I'm like, yo, okay. You know what I mean? And I'm a real estate guy. Yeah. And I'm like, I had no, you think mobile home, you think of, you watching 8 Mile and cats and craziness, but you're not understanding that these dudes are actually paying for that land that they're parking their mobile. I was like, oh.
And shout out to Byron too, because on the episode, their growth has been crazy. So on the episode, they were saying that their ultimate goal was to buy a mobile home park, like 50 mobile homes, like the whole park. So now, fast forward like a year later, and I think they have four mobile home parks. And
in 12 months.
I was talking to him, and he said something that was crazy, because it's like, when we think of mobile home, because I asked him, like, you're a young black man. I'm assuming most people that live in these mobile homes, they don't look like you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't, that's not people that look, most black people don't live in mobile home parks. And he was like, sometimes, it's a little awkward, but it's all good. He was like, yo, if they can gentrify our hood, I'm going to gentrify their hood. He's like, I brought their hood down. So I was like, that's crazy. Like, he brought their hood. So shout out to him, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. That is bananas. Go ahead.
I mean, that's one episode. And then right after that, I think the trucking episode was one of those for me as well. It's because, like, we from New York, so we pass 18-wheelers all the time. And I remember listening to Alex, shout out to our brother Alex, Good Energy, when he broke down the game. It was like, I never thought of them as money when they passed by me. I always thought, like, y'all got to get out the way. They're going to see me. It's going to be an accident.
They always trying to kill us.
They're going to try
on the expressway.
You know what I'm saying? And so when he broke down the game and told us about how he was getting freaks and how the dispatch works, and it was like, yo, there's money to be made in this? And so it was like, oh, nah. We got to figure out a way to get into this game. Because it was like, yo, this makes too much sense. Like, we got somebody here who's an expert in it. He literally broke down the game for us. It was like, all right, this is an opportunity. And shout out to him, because a lot of the people who watched the episode felt the same way as we did. They were like, yo, we got to get into this game. And so when we watch his stories and we watch the execution, it's like, yo, here we go. There's enough for everybody.
Listen, I can share a story with you about that. There's a cat that I'm coaching, and we're talking. All of a sudden, he's like, yo, fam. And I hadn't heard from him for a few days, because usually he checks in. We checking back and forth. He got homework and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, what happened? He said, yo, I just started my trucking. I got a contract with Amazon. I'm like, what? And he was working on it. He didn't tell me about it. He said, yo, I just want to keep on wraps. But now, because of his background in logistics and stuff like that, he said, I was getting into the trucking industry. All of a sudden, now I got the contract with Amazon. And I'm like, God bless you, brother. Like, that game, like, and it's funny to hear it from them and then have someone I know personally who's now in that industry and kind of doing his thing there. I'm like, again, salute, because you guys are opening eyes, you're opening situations. I'll tell you, for me, one of the most eye-opening moments was when Wall Street Trapper, shout out to him, was talking about paying for his AT&T phone with AT&T stock. Because I always thought about real estate to pay for my bills. I said, hold up, you can get dividends. I said, yo, this is genius. You know what I mean? And it's just amazing to me, like the little things that if you're not exposed to these type of people, you would never think about these things. You know what I mean?
Nah, shout out to Trap and shout out to all of our guests. And you know, Earn Your Leisure is not it's not only changing our alumni, people that we bring on the show's lives, and the people that listen lives. It's changing our lives as well. It definitely changed my life based off of the information that I consume from Earn Your Leisure. Like, you know what I'm saying, as far as the truck, like we have a truck now. And Alex is mentoring us on the trucking game, so we about to put a truck on the road hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. Of course, you know, we sharpened our steel with stock. You know, shout out to Max Maxwell. He's the first one that kind of put us on game about YouTube, and that really helped us out on YouTube. Shout out to Budgetnista. She put us on game about, you know, running ads, Facebook ads, and stuff like that. She was the first person that we ever met that made $1 million in a month. So all of these different people that we come in contact with, not only is it changing the listeners' lives, it's changing our lives as well, because we actually learning and we implementing the things that they're teaching us. Well, we would be stupid. That would be the greatest irony if we have the relationships and we're not taking advantage of the information these people saying right next to us. So we soak up the information and we actually implement it, hopefully, just like everybody else is.
And shout out to my brother MG, the mortgage guy.
Absolutely.
He's so much real estate game. It got soaked up in my family. My sister-in-law actually got a house with him. So shout out to our bro for real, man.
Matt's the best in the game. Matt's the best in the game, man. Shout out to Matt.
Yeah.
That's how I met you, actually.
Exactly.
It was
through Matt.
I met a lot. I met probably like 20 people that we had relationships with now from Matt. And everybody from you to DJ Envy to Caesar to Lord of the Slums, Fernando, to Sabine, to Credit Dude, to Andy, to Miss Business. All of these relationships come through Matt. So I always tell people too, like, you know, a lot of times it's not what somebody can do for you, it's what you can do for a person. And I like to tell that story about Matt so much because, you know, if you follow Matt, he's like a typical New Yorker. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's very abrasive. He can come off a little rough sometimes, but he's really a good dude, man. And he went out of his way. He went out of his way to make these relationships for me, which made the relationships for all of us Earn Your Leisure, and it helped us a lot. And by him helping us, we felt obligated to help him. So now he's with us all the time. Like, he's our partner in the we do. So that just came organically. He didn't come to us like, I want to be a partner. Like, you know what I'm saying? He came to us like, how can I help? And he helped.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say that's a powerful lesson in, as far as networking is concerned and building relationships. Try to find out how you can help somebody, and then it'll come back to you.
Yeah. And shout out to our brother Ian Dunlap. We can't forget our brother Ian Dunlap.
Listen, talk about a gold mine find. Goodness gracious.
Solid dude.
Goodness gracious.
He's a solid dude. You know, he came here. Was a little nervous when we did his episode. Was wondering when we were gonna put it out, and it just so happened we put it out at the perfect time because everybody had Corona had just hit, and so when we put it out, everybody was looking at ways to earn income, and his episode was just so powerful. And I think him and Shadi had a conversation. He was like, "Yo, I want to do something with you. I want to kind of create something." And lo and behold, man, Market Mondays was birthed, and so that's just another way. Like, yo, now we can educate on our YouTube channel about investments through the stock market and beyond. So shout out to our bro again.
I think when you look at Earn Your Leisure, I think what gets lost sometimes is the amount of people that we introduce to the world. Like, a lot of these people nobody knew who they were before, and it's like they did the legwork after, but we gave them the push. So it's like a Wall Street Tracker, the Alice Good Energies of the world, the Ian Dunlaps of the world, the Mark Monroes of the world. It's just so many different people that nobody knew about these people. Obviously, they're very smart, they're very intelligent people, very capable, but they needed an opportunity, they needed a platform. And Earn Your Leisure was that platform. So I kind of look at us like Motown. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we like Motown.
Like they said we bad boy in the 90s.
Bad boy.
We ain't missed yet.
Yeah. It's like,
listen, you can't stop, won't stop. I love it. No, you know, for me, obviously, because I'm a real estate guy, so my ear gets peaked when I hear the real estate dudes like the Chris Senegals, the B Rules, all these guys. I'm like, and I'm learning from these cats. I'm like, and it's so amazing. The one thing, everybody said that social media has been a blessing and a curse, which is true. right? But you guys, and I guess us, are using social media in a positive way, and that many of these people didn't know that there's that many of us doing things out there in this fashion. And that's, I think, what you've done is that blessing is that you've shown all these young cats, old and young and old, that there is many of us that are doing it well, right? And that means you could do it too. So we don't need to just look at Obama. There is the master investor. There is Mark Monroe. There is Wall Street Trapper. There is Alice Good Energy. All these cats. There's Lord of the Slums. There's, it's amazing to me that what we were shown, of course, you know how the media work. What we're showing is, hey, go be Jay, go be LeBron, but they're not showing you, the cues of the world. That's at, Wells Fargo. I'm like, this is what I'm loving, and the relationships that we're building is just an amazing thing. So again, I salute you for not only creating the platform, but really moving the platform forward.
Yeah, that's kind of the model, man. Everybody want to be us. We just got to see us, right? Like these things have been hidden in plain sight for so long, and now these people are getting the exposure to, just show that their expertise in all these different fields. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's been so limited. It was either sports, entertainment. And if you didn't fit in that, it was like, what value can you bring if you can't do those things? But there's so many people doing great things, man.
It drove me crazy because one of the reasons, and I crack up about it. So even in my real estate sales world, when I was recruiting my teams, most of my team looked like me. They were either black or brown. And I remember one of my managers was like, yo, you got to diversify a little bit. I said, no, I don't. Do you see the rest of this industry? Ain't nobody that look like me, particularly who's doing well, that can bring other people on and teach them the game. So no, I'm going to bring, obviously, eventually it did assimilate a little more, but my push was to bring on black and brown people so they could see us doing well in that industry, which even to this day, I think we're like 0.07% of like the real estate, landscape in New York, let alone in the luxury market or new development. Forget about it. You know what I mean? So another question I'm actually want to pose to you guys. So today, we're almost 2 years to the date, almost, that Earn Your Leisure's come out. What does the next 12 months, a year look, 2 years look like going into forward?
Shout out to Chef Calvin on the check-in. EY alumni. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I didn't get my beverage this year.
I actually got a beverage, Calvin. I'm gonna hit you.
I requested it.
He drank all mine.
That's neither here nor there. But yeah, you said the next 2 years for us, man. I mean, we're really focusing on just building out our media platform. Market Mondays is a huge success. Shout out to Ian. That's the first show that we really executive produced and put under our umbrella. So we are looking to do that more. EYO Networks is our podcast network. So we got some exciting news that we'll be announcing in the next couple of weeks. We're working with some great creatives, some people that you might be familiar with, to introduce new shows on EYO Network.
On the way.
We got new podcasts that we're working on producing and working with some great individuals. And then EYO University. Thank you for teaching the class for EYO University. EYO University is something that we really, really want to make the premier university, the premier learning platform for business in the entire world. We want to take out the University of Phoenix, and we want to take that spot. We want all our universities. So we really doubling down on that. We hired our first full-time employee for EYO University.
Wow.
Janet.
Okay.
She was working at Fidelity. She's working at Fidelity.
She
had a nice job, so we had to match her salary, and we took her from Fidelity, from the corporate world, and we brought her to EYO University. We got professors this year in 2021. We got professors that's going to teach a class 4 times a year. We got the movie club, we got the book club, we got the real estate course, financial planning course. So EYO University, I feel like, is a podcast on steroids. And, from teaching, it's an interactive situation. So we're doing that at an extremely affordable price. And we really want to focus on the education space and the media space. Those are our 2 biggest focuses right now, media and education. If we can, the people we've been hoodwinked and bamboozled because of media and entertainment.
Big fact.
If you really think about
Absolutely.
it, the media controls so much, and they tell us that we can only be rappers and entertainers because that's the media controlling the images that we see. Education fools us in thinking that, you know, we got to go into $300,000 of debt and we got to settle just to be blue collar workers, or, you know, you got to be a doctor, or like, you know what I'm saying? So if you really think about it, those are the two most powerful things, media and education. So we try to dismantle both of those and put our hats on top of the media mountain and the education mountain. It's like if we can have a strong imprint in media and a strong imprint in education, think about how powerful that is. Like, we can really change the world. So
Oh no, absolutely. So it sounds like we need to have another meeting soon. All right, I got it. So we're gonna put that thing. So speaking of the media piece, how did the meeting of Dust Poppins basically change your vantage point of how powerful media can be and that medium?
Dame?
Dame, yeah, I'm using his IG name, but of course I'm referring to Dame.
Salute to our guy.
Dame, man. Dame is a cultural icon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like this whole financial literacy movement, really, he doesn't get enough credit, but he really spearheaded this financial movement with that. Breakfast Club interview is probably one of the greatest interviews of all time.
2015.
And when he went up there, he was talking, you know, he's like a Matt, like he speaks harsh, and everybody sometimes they throw the baby out with the bathwater, and it's like the way he was talking was very, you know, people felt like he was talking down to people, but I just felt like he was trying to encourage people. And everything that he told them, they picked up later on.
Yeah.
And you see the culture has really changed since he made that interview. So Dame is somebody that we just always just looked up to, somebody that we always looked at inspiration. And then I always had a strong level of admiration for Dame. And then when we met him, shout out to our brother Kenny Burns, he made that happen. And when we met him, it just solidified that even more because he was just how we thought he would be.
Mm-hmm.
And he told us something. He's like, look, did I put you with my assistant? Did I let you use my studio? Did I give you any hassle? He was like, I don't know, y'all. He's like, I was introduced to y'all. I see y'all young black men, y'all doing something positive. Why would I not support it? Like, you know what I'm saying? And since then, we developed a relationship with him. Now he's actually like a friend of ours. So shout out to Dame, man. Yeah, congratulations, too.
We grew up on them, you know what I'm saying? So, like, Biggs, Jay,
of course.
That was it. So, for him to actually open his arms and welcome us like that, it was just crazy to us, man. And like you said, 2015, that interview changed my life personally, right? I was in education, but I'm listening to this man that I looked up to talk about the importance of entrepreneurship and putting your family's last name first. And I was like, wow. And there was, like you said, there was like constant going back and forth, but they was missing the point. But if you look at what's happened since, right? You see the real estate game with Envy. You see Charlamagne with the books and the entrepreneurism. You see Angela, she got the Juices for Life entrepreneurism and real estate. So it's like the message was received. It's just at the time there was resistance to it, man. And so Dame is a pioneer. He's a legend. We got nothing but respect for him, man.
Yeah, shout out to Alex. We were just talking about Alex.
There you go.
I don't know if he.
There you go.
There we was talking about him, but we was just talking about you, Alex. So shout out to Alex on the check-in.
No, absolutely. So I mean, I remember that interview clearly because I remember having a conversation with my wife, and my wife's like, "Yo, damn, he's going in on them." And I said, are you listening to what he's saying? I said, because I came from football, so I got used to people screaming in my face, but they were always trying to do me good, but they were just real rough about it. So I could hear all that. I'm like, and the one that hit me in my soul is when he asked Envy. He said, "I know you love your job, but can you give that to your son?" And when I tell you that was like that punch, and that's probably the worst.
Nah, Dame was like, it's crazy because I feel like people hear things differently. Like me, like, you know how people say like becoming an entrepreneur is risky, right? Yeah. Like for me getting a job is risky because I never had a real job. So I would go through I would have high levels of panic attacks if I had to get up and go to job because I'm just not good at that. So when he was talking, like when I heard him speak that, it was like gospel. I'm like, yo, I understood. Like, everything that he said, I could just relate to. And I'm like, yo. And then everybody else was like, yo, who's he think he is? He's talking down to people. But I didn't hear it like that. I heard like, yo, he's talking that talk right now. Like he's
That's
talking that talk.
Right.
what. Yo, when I tell you that's so real talk, because I mean, listen, I don't know if you guys, I think you guys were at the Javits, and I said to people didn't realize 2015 was probably the worst year of my life, right? I had lost my dad that year. My business went like kaput, and I had to kind of rebuild. And I heard that interview. So a combo of that and some other things, obviously with faith and all that, I started to rebuild. And I said, yo, you know something? I ain't gonna let my father's down. I'm not letting his last name die, just because he went into the ground. And I'm gonna make sure my sons and my daughter understand what we trying to accomplish and what we trying to build. I'm gonna go hard. And obviously, we're all sitting here because of those efforts and the things that we've been praying for and working at quietly in the background. Now it's being shown to some degree. So again, I salute him and I appreciate him answering my question that day when you guys had your anniversary.
Oh yeah,
So,
Shout out.
yo, you know how many people hit me? You know how many people hit me up on that? Like, yo, I saw you ask Dave that question. That was a great question. I'm like, yo, I'm just trying to talk to the dude and learn something and just get my 1 minute. Like, let me hear what he gonna give me. And he gave me a great idea. So I'm like, all right, let's go with it.
Shout out to our boy, not to cut you off. Shout out to our boy Chad, because he said something. He was like, yo, from 85 South. So Chad's the guy that he's like the business mind behind 85 South, and he's a good friend of ours. And he was like, yo, I don't even think y'all understand what y'all did with that 100th episode. Like the 100th episode, we brought like 7 people on YouTube Live, like Spurgo and John Henry and Kenny Burns, Kezia,
and Derek Grace.
And then Wall Street Trapper came on at the end, and then Dame. So he's like, yo, y'all let, and then we let the public, we let people from EY University ask these people questions. He's like, yo, y'all had Dame Dash on there, and y'all had the public action, and it was free. Like he's like, yo, do y'all know like what y'all did? Like that's crazy. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, because we like for us to ask Dame questions, like it took us a long time to get to that point. Like they're saying, you could have just called in and just asked questions to Dame Dash. Like that's not normal. So
no, dude, that I'm talking about. It's culture shifting. It's changing changing the paradigm. It's like, yo, we can be, responsible to help people and still win, right? It's forget the crab in the mentality bucket, right? Like I'm no longer am I climbing on you, I'm pulling you up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you guys personify. And that's why I was like, yo, what I realized, how they say that law of attraction, and that was a decision I made a long time ago. I said, yo, I only want to surround myself with good people. That's it. Good human beings. I don't care if you're a billionaire, if you're poor, but if you're a good person, I can rock with you. And what I realized, the cast that you brought on, the people that that we're cool, we're all, I would hope so, we're all good people, generally trying to help folks out there. So again, it's shocking. And it's amazing at the same time that there wasn't something like this before, but I'm glad you're the guys that are ushering it in.
That's kind of crazy, man. And it's a testament to the people that come on, man. A lot of the conversations that are not part of the episodes are so profound and so life-changing. I mean, including Dame, man. I mean, the conversation he spoke to us about just how we could change EYL network and how we can grow it. And he told us he wanted to give us a show. We're going to hold him to that. And so it got our movie, right? He saw the full force of Earn Your Leisure, all the guys. He was like, yo, y'all definitely need a movie. So it got our minds thinking, right? Like, yo, that's something maybe we can do. Everybody adds value, and a lot of the conversations that don't make it to the episodes are almost as valuable as the ones that come on. One that comes to mind is our brother Kwame Anku. We just did his episode in Miami, and we had a 3-hour conversation. Now, the episode was probably 2 hours, but the after conversation was like 3 to 4 hours. And it was just like life-changing, the amount of knowledge that this man had and experience that he was willing to share with us. And so,
absolutely amazing.
Oh gosh, I mean, there's so many, man. There's so many.
Shout out to Chris Gotti. That's the bro, man. Free the Shaq interview, man. Mike Brown. If y'all want to see the Shaq interview, hit Mike Brown, man.
I see somebody put Shaq in there. Yeah, we got that in the vault.
They're holding it hostage. We interviewed Shaq, and a few people saw it because it was live. We interviewed it. It ran live on our YouTube, and it was classic, man. Classic interview. They holding it hostage, though. They holding the
Shaq interview.
Free the Shaq interview, man. Free the Shaq interview.
We're going to put pressure now.
The people want it. The people want it.
No, but what's keeping them from releasing it? I'm curious.
We'll talk offline.
Yeah.
Okay. Nah, fair enough. So let me ask you this. Let's talk about Market Mondays real quick. Obviously, when you brought Master Invest on there, the timing was kismic, we'll call it, right? Yeah. Everything happens for a reason. did you imagine the impact that meant? Because I mean, listen, we all know he's a genius, but did you imagine that Market Mondays would literally change? I think part of Wall Street. To be honest with you.
Yeah, they definitely watch him.
Market Mondays, you know, what crazy thing of shout out to Ian, man. Market Mondays, I always say it's a cultural phenomenon. It sparked multiple different stock shows that came after Market Mondays that's very similar as far as like the style of it. But there was no stock show like that before Market Mondays. It wasn't. It was the first one. It was the granddaddy of them all. And man, we didn't really. I don't think we never do it. We never had these expectations for these things, man. We never had these expectations. We just do it. And Market Mondays, that thing just hit and it just took off like wildfire. And yeah, Ian, you know, he's extremely knowledgeable, consistent, hardworking dude.
Absolutely.
And, it was just one of those things. I remember I was in LA and as it was like really picking up steam and I was just running into people in the streets, and after a while, people wasn't even talking about Earn Your Leisure, the podcast. They're like, yo, I watch Market Mondays.
Yo, that's what they say. Yo, thank you for what you said on Market Mondays. Yo, I made like 40%.
Yeah, they was heavy on Market Mondays. Like some people was watching Market Mondays, not even watching Earn Your Leisure. Like Market Mondays became its own. That's why we gotta have its own podcast. Like so, Market Mondays is on its own. You can subscribe to Market Mondays, Apple, Spotify. It's on our YouTube channel. So Market Mondays is its own podcast. And now we got two big top business podcasts. We got Earn Your Leisure and we got Market Mondays. And you know,
wait, don't let that go over your head. Two.
Yeah.
Two. Yeah,
Two.
It actually peaked at number 5 on the business charts. So shout out to our bro.
Yeah, and I wanted to say something about the Dave situation too. You know, one of the things that he said about his son, like, you know, the pride, something about like the cookies and all that, but it's like the pride that your children take in you when you have a business is real too, because it's like even our kids, like, you know, they got a group chat, and the name of their group chat is Mini EYL for life. So they take a lot of pride. They take a lot of pride in Earn Your Leisure and being Earn Your Leisure's kids. And you know, that type of pride only really comes from ownership in business. Like they wouldn't have that type of pride even if we was making $1 million at Pepsi. You know, we don't own Pepsi, we don't own Coca-Cola, but we Earn Your Leisure. So it's like, you know, they like, we want to wear the merch. They want to, you know what I'm saying? They want to get on the podcast. They want to do everything. So it's a sense of pride that your children have when they watch you create. Like my son is turning 10, and you know, I watched him grow up, and he watched me grow up. He watched my elevation. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like he watched it in real time. He watched his father, you know, grow, and now he can actually use that, I'm sure, as some level of inspiration, motivation for his own life, because he was able to see me grow. He was able to see me work. And I was able to see him grow, and we're growing together. So that's something that's not talked about enough.
Yo, it is crazy, man. My kids the other day, we were coming home from school, and they started screaming. And I'm like, what's happened? And they're like, Daddy, somebody has your shirt on outside. Like they were doing laps around. And I was like, oh, that's dope. It's crazy, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
absolutely. So let me ask you. So let's stay on the kids for a second. How has the conversation changed from when you guys were growing up and having a conversation with your parents to the conversation you're now having with your kids?
I mean, his story is going to be completely different than mine. Like I said, I don't come from a business background. My parents worked. My dad worked for 40 years, and I think he was a VP at Wells Fargo. I never knew what he did every day. I just know he went to work. And I'm just straight up. I saw his work ethic more than I saw what he actually did. So we never had business conversations because it's just not something to discuss. My parents are from Jamaica, you know what I'm saying? So I'm first generation. So all these conversations about the stock market and real estate, it just wasn't happening at the dinner table, you know what I'm saying? We would talk about sports. We didn't even talk about music because they couldn't stand rap. They were just like, yo, reggae. You know, we was a reggae household until I was like, yo, Dad, we got to listen to KRS. Like, we need a little bit of that. And so pretty much I learned a lot from being around Shadi. I learned a lot from reading consistently. And that's something I don't want people to discount either. A lot of times people think like, yo, hey, students specifically, I didn't read the summer reading book. And so like, I'm not a good reader, but they discount the fact that they may have read a magazine article or they read a newspaper, any type of publication. And once you start in that practice of consistently reading something, it builds up your stamina, it builds up your fluency. So never discount what you read. Obviously, you should read things that add value, But just because you didn't read Catcher in the Rye doesn't mean you're not a good student or not a good reader.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I tell
his
people,
story's gonna be different.
Somebody said, "Where's the EYL wives?" We talk about Troy's wife a lot. Shout out to Danielle.
There's one.
She's definitely helped out in our journey a lot. No wife for me though. So
Yeah.
it's only one. There's only one EYL.
I told you his story's gonna be different, right?
absolutely.
Nah. But for me, you know, growing up, fortunately, that was part of my household because my dad was always an entrepreneur, and that's something that he was real passionate about. He always taught independence, and financial independence, and you know, I learned stocks early. I learned about investing early, the importance of investing early. Like me, I was always like fascinated with stocks. Like I was like 12 years old watching movies like Wall Street and like Barbarians at the Gate. I wanted to be a corporate takeover artist when I was like 10 years old. Like, I was always fascinated with business, like business and sports. And then when I got old, like music. But I always loved business. I always knew I wanted to be in business my whole entire life. I just wasn't sure exactly what path. But business is something that, you know, unfortunately, like I said, for me, was always taught in my household. So it gave me, I think, a leg up. And like I said, I never really looked at it like, I got to get a job. I got to start a business. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at it. Like coming out of school, it's like, all right, how can I make money? Like it wasn't really like, all right, I need to find a job. So I think that, you know, I was fortunate and thankful to be exposed at that at a early age. And I feel like, you know, it's just now I'm just growing and taking it to the next level. And then hopefully my son will be able to take it to the next level. And then, you know, just
That's all hope and prayer, right?
Yeah, that's it right there, man. Like I worked in the school district for 16 years, and like when I left this year, it was like I could work for 30 years and dedicate my entire life to that, spend more time there than I would at home with him. But when I leave, I can't give him a job. I can't even give him the guarantee that he'll have an interview. But earning a leisure is something that he can always have. You know what I'm saying? So like the legacy lives on through my kids. They live through his kids. So it's just a beautiful thing. And that also stems from the Dame conversation. When he was like, my son got cookies. He don't got a boss. It all stems from that sparked that mindset.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny that you say that because even with me now, what I try to do anytime, like I was doing stuff with real estate, I try to bring the kids around. Like I'm going, you know, they're like, Dad, you going to your building? You going here? I'm like, yeah. I said, I want you to know. And they'll start asking me questions. And then now I'm starting to plant in their mind assets over liabilities, right? So it's funny. So the youngest son, and this was, when I tell you, was one of the proudest dad moments of my life. He's like, Daddy, isn't that a liability? Why would somebody pay for that? I was like, he's 7. I was like, yeah. You know, almost as much as my kids scoring a touchdown, I was excited to know that they're starting to pick up these little things and starting to get those things. And one of my mentors told me, and what he said to me, he said, look, we have the opportunity to change the conversation at the dinner table, right? Where a lot of the others will say they were used to doing that. And that's why the conversation is easy for them, whereas for us, it was complicated. Now we can start teaching some of these terms, some of that jargon, some of that language at home. So when they get out in the streets and they're talking to other people, others, they can relate to that language. You know what I mean?
It's real, because a few years ago I was teaching it. I would do different pops up at like high schools to teach financial literacy. So most of the high schools that I was teaching financial literacy, like they bring me in for like a day, was in like, you know, the Bronx and stuff like that. And it was, you know, all black. Like almost every school that I spoke to was black. You know, I talk about stocks and stuff like that. And the kids, they wasn't really familiar. They might have heard about it, but, you know, it's just like explaining it to them. And I went to one white school because a friend of mine had invited me, and it was an all white school. And that was the first white school, the only white school that I ever actually spoke at. And I was speaking to the kids, and it was like high school kids, and I was speaking to them. And they was asking me about like Bitcoin, Ethereum. This was years ago, like 3 years ago. They was asking me about cryptocurrency. And I'm asking them, I'm like, yo, how do you know about crypto? And they like, my dad. Like, well, my dad was talking about it. I'm at dinner, and my mom was, you know, da. And so it's like the power of hearing your parent. You might not think that kids are listening. But that's the kind of conversations that's the kind of conversation that they was being exposed to. And I can tell that they knew at least something about it, because they was asking questions about it, where it was like the black kids, the Spanish kids, they wasn't having those kind of conversations at home. So they didn't know anything about that kind of stuff. So,
you know, what's dope about this time right now is that like our platform provides that. So like I even got students that are hitting me up from like I had them like 10 years ago, and they're like, yo, we watching and we loving it. And it's like, yo, that's so dope, because now the conversation changes amongst them. And it's like, yo, this is what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
I'm just, sometimes I like, we be so like dedicated and head down and in the work that we like forget to look like, yo, look at what this is doing. But every now and then it's like, yo, this is incredible. Like when a student DMs me like, yo, Millings, man, I remember when you was my basketball coach. This is so crazy what y'all talking about. But now his dinner table conversation changes, right? Now he can say like, yo, I'm watching Market Mondays every day. I want to get stocks for my kids. Like, that's completely different. I never had that conversation at the table. And we doing that for young men and young women. So it's incredible. Like I said, it's incredible to hear it, but to hear that they execute on it, it makes it even better.
No, listen, when I tell you you're a blessing to the masses, and that you've changed the game, and like you said, and to the point, I guess the biggest form of flattery is that there's copycats coming out, right? And they're trying to do what you do, but it's a blessing because if they're doing it the right way, whether they don't have as much exposure as you, they're still teaching some people how to step up to the next level. So listen, that's actually, I think I bumped, I'm not gonna say their names, but I bumped into something. I was like, yo, this looks kind of familiar. I said, but don't look like the guys I know.
It's all love.
Yeah. Exactly. As long as they, listen, they give credit where credit's due, for the most part, and try to do the right thing by the people. As long as they're doing the right thing by the people, I can't be mad at it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I said this the other night, man. I said, in Wakanda there was many tribes, right? But as long as those tribes are all trying to teach their people to liberate them, then that's the end goal. We all for it. We can all exist in the same space, right? We always live by that theory, man. I light your candle that doesn't extinguish my flame. So as long as we're building our people up and we're trying to liberate and create generational wealth for them, let's do it.
Hey, listen, the great Les Brown said, listen, what I can say to somebody may not resonate the way you say it to somebody, right? So there's different voices out there, and, listen, I'm in real estate. How many other real estate guys are there? But there's some people who follow me and they enjoy the way I teach. Some people enjoy the way somebody else's teach, and, and so forth and so on. So there's room for everybody. Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of, hey, as long as you're doing right by the people, you gotta be doing right by the people and teaching them and doing and things like Matt says, collaboration over competition.
That's a fact.
He coined that phrase, and look, that dude, salute to him again, because he is murdering the mortgage game. And it's a testament again to the people that that are connected together and working together. So I got one last question for you, or maybe two, because I guess other people got questions as well. If you can do anything differently, and I know it's always 2020's hindsight, but if you was going to change anything from what you did in the beginning, is there anything you would change?
There's so many different stuff as far as we could have accelerated our growth if we knew just through education, as far as even the merch. We made mistakes with merch. We made mistakes with, not having the right equipment for visuals or audio. We made mistakes with not knowing how to monetize a podcast early on. We made mistakes with not fully understanding how to use YouTube. But all of that is part of your development, right? It's like you kind of.
I'm learning from you guys. You and Matt. Matt.
But there was no course, there was no blueprint for us to follow. So, we made a lot of mistakes because we was just trying to figure it out as we go. So, if it was, something for us to follow, maybe we wouldn't be here, because that means that somebody else would have been at the top of the mountain already. And, we might not have been able to get to where we're at. So, I kind of look at it like we kind of trailblaze the situation. And whenever you're like kind of one of the first people doing something, you're going to make mistakes because, how do you know not to make mistakes? But hopefully people can learn from our mistakes. We put that, even our merch episode, we put that out there. A lot of different stuff we put out there. We put, our learning experiences out there. So hopefully it can accelerate other people's growth so they don't have to make the same mistakes that we
always say. Yeah, we
I try to tell people all the time.
Hopefully that's all you have to go through that, man. I'm proud of the mistakes because there was lessons inside of all of them, right? So when we had to learn about using equipment, somebody had to figure out how to do it. Where we were doing the merch, we did it wrong. We got to figure out how to get this right. And so hopefully people are watching that and taking heed to it and making sure that they don't repeat them. That's the biggest thing, right? Just don't repeat the mistakes that we've told you that we've done. Even in business, we failed before. Right? This is not it's not the first thing that we've done. We just were persistent and said like, all right, we're gonna try again. We're just gonna keep trying until we get the right one. And
a lot of people don't realize that's the secret, right? If you don't give up, and most people don't know, most of the biggest entrepreneurs that they know of probably had 40 failures before the big one that you know them about, know them for.
Well, it's
So
it's like I always look at it like you're guaranteed to win if you don't have the luxury of losing. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. Like, I don't have the luxury of losing. Like I said, like I look at it like I'm not getting a job. You know what I'm saying? I'll rob a bank before I get a job. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not joking, I'm joking. I'm not going to rob a bank. But I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe halfway joking. But so I look at it like I got to figure it out. No matter what it was, I have to go outside and figure it out because there's no real alternative to not figure it out. When you take that approach, it's like 9 times out of 10, you're going to figure something out. You're going to figure something out. Yeah. But when you look at it like, all right, if this doesn't work, I got this to fall back on, you're going to fall. And you're going to fall back on what you had to fall back on.
Yeah. And when we say no expectations, that's key too. It wasn't like, yo, what if this doesn't work? Like, not once. I'm sure in his mind, it never happened, crossed his mind. It never crossed my mind. It was just like, yo, we're going to do it. But people like, well, what if it didn't work?
Oh, you've done it.
Like, we never let that thought never crossed our minds because it was like, all right, at the end of it, it's like, yo, it's just me and him just talking. So it's like, we're going to do that if this pops off or if it doesn't. Right? That's not going to change. And so we just let the world in on our conversations, and this is the end result of it.
Well, thank you then. Thank you. We appreciate that. Let me see. There's some questions that I said. Some people that said, when is EYL for kids coming?
Soon, man. Soon. We would love to do some. We actually, something that we definitely want to work on. A few different ideas for that. Yeah. So soon we're gonna put out some content soon.
Yeah. Prior to Corona, we were gonna be on a little school tour. But obviously everything went virtual, so that changed some things up. But definitely, man, education is my heart. School is my heart, and so like eventually we're gonna get back to that.
Hey, listen, please educate the children. I tried, that's why I give you a lot of salute for how long you stayed in the game. Because after 9/11, I had worked at a school for a hot second, and I realized, like you, Rashad, that me and the administration, we don't get along. I love the kids, so I ended up coaching. So that was my way of helping children. But what I saw and what I was dealing with, I said, oh no. But what I did see there though, exposure is a big deal, right? Because and I remember that, and that's why I made sure I coached. So I remember, where I taught at was in Ridgewood, Queens, right on the borderline of Bushwick and Queens, and obviously we know who the demographic was, and it was never parking by the school. And by one miraculous day, I found parking right next to the field, like the playground or whatever. So I'm going into my car, and all of a sudden I hear, yo, Mr. V, that's you? That's you. We had a BMW at the time. They're like, yo, that's you? I was like, yeah. They say, they pay teachers like that? I said, whoa. I said, hold on. I said, I forgot. Don't forget, I came from Wall Street. I said, that's Wall Street money that's paying for this. And it's like, what's Wall Street? And I actually took time in class to kind of walk them through what bids and ask, what stocks are, stuff like that. And you can see their hunger to understand it. It's like, yo, hold up, there's another way to get these kind of things? Because in their hood, the only people who had the Beamers, you know what they did. You know what I mean? So
that's crazy. Yo, that literally happened to me because I had a Beamer. I had the 5 Series. I was working in the Bronx, right off of Gun Hill. And I had to, they were like, yo, man, that's your car? I'm like, yo, damn, they gonna steal the little joints off my the little joints that you put the air pressure in, like your tire?
Yeah.
You put them on their bike. So I'm like, yo, damn, they gonna steal these joints, man. I'm like, yeah. They're like, yo, you hustle, bro? I was like, nah, man, you can actually pay doing like this. And so it was like, for them to see a teacher, and kudos to you for stepping in the field, they don't see us. Like, there's less than 1% of black males that are in education. So for them to see us, it's like, yo, you're the unicorn. And so you got to make sure you represent. So, like, that was a part of it. It was like, yo, they thought, like, yo, because I taught phys ed and health, you don't get paid the same way the English teacher gets paid. And so, like, that's the misconception. It's like, yo, You get paid like a teacher salary for this? Like you get to play all day? I'm like, yeah.
No, it's crazy. I mean, and I feel bad because, I always hear like, you should have stayed because again, with such a small percentage in that game. But I knew me, like they would eventually make me so miserable that the kids even noticed. They're like, yo, why they bother you, Mr. V? Why they bother you so much? That I would have ended up, translating that to the kids. So I said, you know something, let me step out of this and I'll coach where I can just come to after school, I'll coach. And that's all the time that I need with the kids. And I made the impact. Listen, bless their heart. I got a text from a young man that I coached several years ago who's about to graduate from college. And when I tell you this dude sent me something that almost brought me to tears, he's like, he's about to go into dental school. He's like, yo, it's because of the discipline you gave me. I love, I appreciate the tough love you gave me. And you was making sure I got into college and guiding me which school to go to. And I'm like, yo, like you said, you forget the impact that you have on people, but you're not thinking about it. You're like, yo, I'm just genuinely trying to help you. You know what I mean? And then later on, when they come back and tell you their stories, you're like, yo, you know what I mean? So that's what y'all doing, just so y'all know, at mass. Y'all changing people. You're going to get stories. You're going to get DMs. You're going to get emails that like, yo, I was able to buy a crib. I was able to get out of debt. I was able to get off the corner. Like a guy, they told you they got off the corner. You should save somebody's life. You saved them coming out of jail. You know what I mean? So that is something listen, I pray for you guys that you continue to be able to have the impact you guys are having and growing it beyond just, even EYL money market, like you said, the network. Now you got two things on your EYL network that's, top 5, like you said. So listen, that only sky's the limit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think it's also important that, tell other people's stories. Like, the Wall Street Trappers of the world, that's an inspirational story. Like, Wall Street Trapper, you got to realize, he saw his mom get shot in front of him when he was 10 years old. And then he goes to jail when he's 16 years old for 10 years for attempt murder. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how many people can go to jail at 16 years old with men? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you in Louisiana, like, that's different. Like, you around grown men in a state penitentiary at 16 years old and do 10 years of hard labor and come home and, turn into what he is now. So it's like to be able to give him a platform to speak to the people, to tell his story, I think is inspirational, like Nacho Benga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Nacho Benga, boy out in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? He was on the street when he was 5 years old, no parents. You know what I'm saying? It's like coming from East Baltimore, literally raising himself on a street corner at 5 years old to just becoming an entrepreneur and, turning away from not selling drugs, not robbing somebody, making money legally. And not only doing that, but employing people, employing young men, 3 teenagers that he employs now. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like for him to tell his story.
Absolutely.
It might not be the most polished. It might not be the most polished story, but it's a story that needs to be told because it's like there's so many negative, stories that are told. Especially for young men, for young black men, we're depicted a lot, for all the negativity, but there's great people out here that's beating the odds, that's defying the odds, and are making a way and are changing their community, changing their lives. So to be able to give these people a platform to tell their stories along with everybody else, I think is, to me, the best part of the situation because you never know, somebody can tell their story and that can just change somebody's life. Like they might be thinking about going one way, and then they hear somebody else, and they're like, all right, now I'm going to go this way. So it's powerful.
While we mentioned Nacho, I just want to give a huge shout out to our brother Derek Falcons, who was one of his mentors, who actually came, and another person was incarcerated, came out and started his own restaurant. Just an inspirational story. But when he came to do his interview, man, he literally changed how we were doing interviews, because we had never seen somebody literally come on and break down their business and give away their whole gameplay for free. And it was like, oh, wow. Like when he left, we were just in shock, like, yo, what just happened? So he changed our lives, man. Like seriously, like, he changed our lives just by being so like upfront about what he's doing in business. And when people heard that interview, they were like, who are these guys? And who is that guy? Because he's a genius. And so like there would be no other place for him to do that but for this little thing that we created called Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah, shout out to Derek Falcon, man. One of the greatest
ever.
No, absolutely.
Not even just Earn Your Leisure. That's one of the greatest podcasts ever recorded in the history of podcasts. you'll be hard pressed to ever find a podcast that's better than episode 11 with Derek Falcon. He changed the game a whole lot, and he definitely changed Earn Your Leisure. He changed the trajectory of Earn Your Leisure
Forever.
So salute to Derek Falcon.
I'm telling you, and that's where the genius comes in, fellas, is that, yeah, it's not scripted. It is unscripted. It's a little bit of rough, but that's many of our, our existence and our realities. So to see it in our world and see that, yo, there's a cat that, was left alone at 5 or went to jail at 16, where some of these people who are watching you can relate to that and say, hold up, but they made it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't go that route. They were able to change their lives and do some great positive things without having to go down the dark path. Right? Listen, I grew up in Hollis, Queens, where I call it the dichotomy, because I was between Jamaica Avenue and Hillside. Jamaica Avenue, crack, shootings, you name it, it was on that street. You went to Hillside, there was birds chirping, flowers blooming. So I saw two different worlds. I'm like, yo, how's that possible that you can go literally a quarter of a mile, maybe not even that far, and it's two different worlds? But I was able, that exposure gave me the understanding, like, all right, there's one world I could walk to, or there's another world I could survive in. And I knew what my parents were doing. You know how disrespectful it would have been for me to walk down the wrong path?
Mm-hmm.
The effort and 18-hour days they gave up for us to have an opportunity. I mean, listen, you understand it. You're sons of immigrants. My parents were from Haiti, so I learned their work ethic. Like you said, I saw the work ethic. I knew kind of what they were doing, but I knew they work hard. And I remember saying, I don't want to do what they're doing. I said, no. I said, there's no way I'm working if I'm gonna work that hard, I better have the house on the top of Hillside. That was Jamaica Estates in Hollywood. I was like, nah, we ain't working this hard and not see something from it and not pay them back for the work that they put into us.
Right.
So again,
South Passe to all the Haitian massive.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I see my man Welby's on here. South Passe, my brother.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Salute, bro.
We got a lot of Haitian guests that was on the show.
Doom.
Ladoon. No, Ladoon's from Africa. He's from Nigeria. Ash Cash. The most
Ash Cash, yep.
Oh, Jude.
Jude Bernard.
Hey,
Jude, yeah, that's my guy.
If you ain't check out Jude Bernard's episode that came out yesterday.
Yeah, funny, hilarious.
Jude's a trip. Jude's a trip.
The
LS Liqueur. They're from
from Canada.
They're from Haiti. So shout out to Haiti, man. I gotta go out there, man. I see Mike Rashid. I follow him on Instagram. I see he was out there, took a vacation to Haiti. So Harold, we got to line some real estate. Fritz Charles from Haiti.
I do.
Yeah, you hear Fritz. You already know.
Real estate plays up out in Haiti, man. What's up?
Yeah, listen, there is opportunity out there. You just got to know. But in there, like anywhere else, it's the relationships, right? You got to know the right people and move in the right circle, so that way, whatever you do acquire stays yours. You know what I mean? So you just got to know how to navigate the landscape and understand the areas that you don't mess with and the places that, and like any one of those worlds, you just take care of the right people, they take care of you. You know what I mean?
Shout out to everybody that's putting up that Jamaican flag. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Hey, listen, it's again, I don't want people to miss and what's going on. I don't think if everybody don't understand what these two men and I'm sure your other partner have accomplished here, like the fact that we're able to tell our stories in the way that it should be told. It's not being told by Bravo. It's not being told by CNBC. It's not being told by one of these other places that manipulate the story to make it look like either a sob story or some craziness and thinking that's the only route. That we're actually able to see it in its realness, its rawness. Seeing, like, again, I bring up Chris Senegal, who said, no, we can re-gentrify our own hood. Right? It doesn't have to be the other guys that come in and push us out. We can build and bring it back ourselves. You know how many people he's probably inspired that are probably doing that in their vicinities and saying, hey, yeah, it's possible. I just saw this dude do it who looks just like me. Mm-hmm. Right? And ain't that old. I mean, good thing black don't crack, so we all look young, younger than we are. But so hold on, let me make sure that Instagram ain't gonna kick us off. They've been a little kind to us, I guess. We're doing good stuff here.
Okay, it is.
So individually, and I'm just curious, what's your master game plan for your life? Like, I know what you're doing with EYL. We got an idea how y'all want to grow that, but personally, where is it? What does the end? What does the end look like for you? What is the master plan?
Whew, the master plan for
Good,
me.
good one, huh?
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, I can talk for the immediate, man. I want to make sure that my family's straight, and not just my wife and kids, but my entire family. One of
Yep.
the things about my brother Ian said was like, yo, it's cool to have 6 or 12 months of reserves for yourself, but your family's going to need you in the end. And so he said 60 months became the goal. And so that's something that I'm working toward, right? I want to have 60 months of reserves, not only for me, but for my family. I want my kids to feel freedom, man. I remember growing up, and you could probably relate. It was like in a West Indian home. It was like, yo, they wanted you to be a doctor or a lawyer, and that was it.
Lawyer
Like, that was the two
or
things.
engineer. I want
Engineer,
a
yeah, yeah,
doctor,
yeah, yeah,
lawyer,
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
engineer.
My parents didn't throw engineer. It was just either those two things. And so if you weren't those two things, it felt like you almost were a disappointment in a sense. So like I remember my first career, I wanted to be a physical therapist, and my pops was like, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna be a teacher, and they were kind of like, good job. And so like, I want my kids to have the freedom to choose whatever they want to be, and know that even
Absolutely.
any route that they go, they're gonna have support, and they're gonna have something that they can call their own, and that's what Earn Your Leisure is for me. So like securing, and I know it sounds cliche, but really securing wealth that lasts for generations. So beyond them is really the vocal point of
Nothing wrong with that.
what if I'm planning to do. And it comes from many avenues, man. It could come from the podcast, it could come from the stock market, it could come from real estate. So we're gonna try to accumulate as many assets as possible, man, and so that we're always going to be financially free, and once we become that, then we liberate everybody else as well.
Absolutely. You, Rashad?
Yeah, I mean, for me, providing that legacy, because after a while, it's like, I feel like the stage that we're in now, we're in the building stage, working stage, but you always got to think, and I was on the phone with Matt yesterday, and Matt, he loved when I talk, because I be talking crazy to him, and like I try to like look at things like way in the future, and I was saying, I'm like, yo, with stock options, I'm like, what happens if you die? Like with stock options, I'm just not sure about what happens with that. He's like, why would you even think about that? Because I'm like, let's say you got $1 million in stock options. If you die, you don't really own the stock, man. So long story short, I'm like, now, we in the accumulation phase, but I'm already thinking about the generational phase of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool to make money and do it for yourself, but now after that, it's like, what's next? Now you got to start to plan for like, all right, you're going to die one day. So you want to make sure that your family is taken care of. You want to make sure that your children is taken care of. And it's like,
Absolutely.
Mitigate taxes and all of that. So I've been thinking about that stuff a lot lately. Like, all right, when I'm not here anymore, you know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that, I changed the whole trajectory of my family. And now it's like estate planning, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's something I'm really thinking about these days. And outside of that, man, just continuing to grow. I'm just enjoying life's journey, and
Amen.
just living with no rules. It's a blessing. I'm very humble and very thankful to the opportunities that I've had. But even when I didn't really have a lot of money, I had freedom. I always had freedom. So I always
Amen.
woke up. I always woke up whenever I wanted, and figured the day out as I went, and went to bed whenever I wanted. And I feel like even if it doesn't really matter if I don't have any money, as long as I can do that, I'll be rich. So, for me, that's something that's priceless. And, you can't put a price tag on that. So, to be able to continue to do that and to, show that to my son too, and let him know that he can live life on his terms as well. And,
Absolutely.
we do whatever we want to do. So that's the kind of life that I like to live. And,
Freedom.
moving forward, we just want to just keep building this thing as big as we possibly can make it. And that's the game plan.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. So what I want to share with everybody, I want to announce tonight the winner of the subscription EYL, but you guys you have exploded the comments in my in that post. So I'm gonna need a little more time tonight to tabulate. I have my team looking through it. We're gonna pick up all the people who did it, and then we're just gonna pick a hat out the ring, and then I'll announce it on my stories tomorrow. And make sure that your life is being changed by these gentlemen at EYL University. Obviously, you might want to check out my course on there. Shameless plug. You know, So I definitely will do that. As a matter of fact, is there anything you want to tell the people as far as them getting involved with EYL University?
Yeah, nah, first and foremost, thank you for, interviewing us. We appreciate it. And yeah, Eli University, like I said, we really, really are focused on, it's not just something that's just a fluke. Like we're really, really investing a lot into EYL University. And being that, we are doubling the price, but like I said, it's still extremely undervalued. But we waited. We was going to do a 48-hour sale, and then a lot of people saying it was Christmas. So it's still the same price all the way until January 1st. So if you're interested, we're running a 40% off sale right now, code EYL, which is like $400 for the entire year. $400 for the entire year. And like I said, it's weekly webinars, monthly financial planning calls, bi-weekly real estate calls. 70 past webinars already.
We have 103.
103 webinars?
103, yeah.
103 webinars. So it's like just for that alone. So it's like we put in all of we dumping the all-stars, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like getting it, leveraging all of our relationships and just pouring that into like a curriculum where people can actually learn. So I personally think for $400, that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, folks, I'm letting y'all know, if you ain't part of EYL University yet, and for that number, I don't think, one course will probably make you 10 times that amount. So, and they're talking about 103 of them are in there. So I implore you, please, if you have the opportunity, don't buy the 2 pairs of Jordans, don't buy the Gucci wallet, go buy EYL, because that'll show you how to have something else pay for those liabilities anyway. You know what I mean?
It's less than the PS5.
Exactly. Cheaper than the PS5, especially people the way they market up those prices right now. Those the other entrepreneurs out there reselling the PS5, so God bless them. One thing I want to share with you, with everybody, listen, you can go on my page, go on my link tree, free resource. I give a 30-day roadmap, how to get ready to be in real estate. I call it Real Estate Ready. Go on that page, check it out. It's free, absolutely free. You don't got to pay a red cent for it. It just gives you some information, and then eventually I'm going to do some training on that roadmap. If you want to do a call with me, you also can click on that link there and get involved in that aspect. And I'll give you if you see what I do, they call me Coach V for a reason. So I switched it from athletics to now real estate game and giving people exposure to that place. But
shout out to our boy Wall Street Tracker too. We worked with him. He put together a course on like generational wealth, and
Family Pack, right?
Family Pack, yeah. So we're doing a Christmas sale on that too. That's 80% off right now, and that's literally like teaching you how to like make your kid a millionaire. It sounds like a gimmick until people get it. Anybody that got the Family Pack, they know that we actually gave the whole blueprint how to make your kid a millionaire. Broke down like top performing investments, broke down the life insurance play, broke down gold, like how to invest in gold, broke down everything.
It's ridiculous. IRAs, REITs.
Yeah.
I mean,
how Trap,
man.
He's like a scientist when it comes to this. And we came in and just added our flavor into it. We did I did like half of it. He did half of it. So it's like Styles and Jada.
Yeah. I got to watch all of it.
Yeah. So shout out to Trap, man. Yeah. Shout out to Trap.
That's the bro.
Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody that has checked our platform out. Everybody that's subscribed on YouTube, listen on Apple Podcasts, all of that stuff. It's been a crazy year. It's been a crazy year. But we got through it. We got through it, and we survived it. So we're looking at 2021
big year
with optimism. We got some really, really big things lined up that we're working on that hopefully we can announce soon. And
absolutely,
we're taking this thing to the next level.
Yeah, and I see.
Hey, listen,
our Houston fans in here. Cliff, I see you, man. Shout out to everybody in Houston. We got so much love out there. Shout out to Houston. Shout out to all the earners, and shout out to all our legacy writers. I tell people all the time, man. How we will be remembered won't be up to us. It'll be up to the people we impact. And so all of our legacy writers, we appreciate you. All the earners, we love you. Shout out to everybody.
And listen, I appreciate you guys allowing yourselves to be interviewed. I was like, listen, these guys are always interviewing everybody else. I got to let the people understand what is in their minds and what they're thinking, what came up with it. I'm telling you, I'll never forget that day, man. That day when I first met you, I was like, yo, this is crazy. When I was listening to it, and I said, yo, you guys they're doing something special. And hey, look where we're at now. You know what I mean? So listen, I saw some questions in there. I think, and I apologize to everybody that, listen, y'all was saying comments way too fast for us to catch up to all the things. But I hope we gave you guys some value and understand what they're doing out here and how they're changing the world and how you could be part of it and how you could change your life through their platform and learning the things that are being shared through all their guests and things of that nature. So thank you for sharing your nights with us. Rashad don't got a wife, but I do, and so does Troy. So and I could feel the heat on the back of my neck right now. You know what I mean? Because my daughter just came home. So we appreciate you guys. I'm gonna pray that Instagram don't mess with me. I'm gonna save this so everybody could catch the replay. But I will announce the winner by tomorrow. That'll be your early Christmas gift, and we'll go from there. And I'll talk to you how I will sponsor your subscription to EYL. After the first year, it's on you, though. I got you for the first year. After that, y'all on your own. All right. So, gentlemen, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for a thing. And obviously, we all will talk offline because I think a couple of things you mentioned, we're going to have a little conversation about. You know what I mean? All right, everybody. Have a great night. God bless. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. Happy Kwanzaa. All the good stuff.
Love is love.
Peace.
Love is love. Definitely.